Sung Jin-Woo, a character who is being powered up in the world of solo leveling. Although Jinwoo has a lot of skills, but the most OP skill among them is shadow extraction. Now, what happens with shadow extraction? Well, before I tell you that, let me give you a big spoiler alert, because in this video, there are only spoilers. Now let's begin. So with shadow extraction, basically Jinwoo can bring back any dead beast or hunter again by saying arise. And then he includes them in a shadow army. They become shadow soldiers, and these shadow soldiers are always loyal to Jinwoo and fight for him. Now it is possible that whenever that beast or hunter whom Jinwoo killed and extracted his shadow, when he was alive, he would be against Jinwoo. But when he has become a shadow soldier, he has no other option but to obey Jinwoo and be loyal to him. As I told you, Jinwoo uses a very famous term to extract his shadow, which is always associated with solo leveling. And what is that term? Arise. Now, there are many rules and exceptions to shadow extraction, which we will talk about in another video. For now, the focus of today's video will be on Jinwoo's shadow soldiers, which we can also call familiars. That is, we will learn about their history and their powers in depth. The video will start now. So first of all, let's talk about those three shadows, which have been shown very briefly in manhwa. What I mean to say is that when Jinwoo extracted those shadows, he either terminated them immediately or they terminated themselves. So among these three, the first one is Byung-Gyu, who used to be a healer of Korea's S rank. Byung-Gyu participated in the 4th Jeju Island raid, where he was successful in killing Ant Queen with his raid party. But after this, Ant King jumped into the fight, which was very powerful. Now, although Byung-Gyu disguised himself and was kind of invisible, healing the rest, but Ant King found him and killed him. After this, Jinwoo also jumped into the fight, who was able to defeat Ant King. They can't defeat him without Jinwoo. But here, an S-rank hunter, Chae Hyein, was severely injured, and she couldn't survive without healing. So Jinwoo used his shadow extraction ability on Byung-Gyu, and that is, he extracted his shadow. And of course, he came back to life, means his shadow came back, and the shadow of Byung-Gyu healed Chae Hyein. Now, after healing, Jinwoo terminated Byung-Gyu's shadow extraction, because Byung-Gyu didn't like to fight, so he did this kind of respecting his will. And when the shadow was terminated, in a way, his soul was freed. So if you see Byung-Gyu's shadow was extracted, but it was only used once, after which it was terminated. That's why I'm saying that these three shadows were temporary. Now, do you know who the second temporary shadow was? Our Ant Queen. Yes, after the 4th Jeju Island raid, Jinwoo also extracted the shadow of Ant Queen. Why? Because of course Ant Queen is very strong. But here Baru tells Jinwoo that although Ant Queen is very strong, but her mana, her power, is mostly used in reproduction. I mean, you can make 1,000 ants from Ant Queen and make them defend. But if you're thinking of attacking, then nothing special about that. So how will she be useful in the shadow army? That's why Jinwoo also terminated the shadow of Ant Queen. Now you'll ask, who is Baru, and why is he giving Jinwoo so many suggestions? Baru is my favorite shadow. I'll tell you in this video, so stay tuned. Anyway, our last temporary shadow was Kamish, who was very strong. Do you know who Kamish was originally? Well, he used to be the servant of the King of Dragon Antares. And for those who don't remember, I'll remind you that the King of Dragon, Antares, used to be the strongest monarch. So the long battle between rulers and monarchs that was going on, if you want to know about it, then refer to my previous video. I have explained the entire history of solo leveling well in it. So yes, in that battle, Kamish was captured by the rulers. And in that battle, Kamish was given the Essence Stones. And in America, there was a gate of S rank, and Kamish was the boss of that gate. And in that battle, many hunters of S rank fought against Kamish. And it is said that in that battle, Kamish alone defeated hundreds of S rank hunters. The thing was that in America, there were only 5 hunters of S rank left, and they somehow managed to defeat Kamish. Kamish's body was preserved there by the US, and a structure was built around it. And after 8 years, the Federal Bureau of Hunters of America gives Jinwoo a chance to see Kamish. Jinwoo sees that Kamish is very strong, so he makes Jinwoo arise and Kamish's shadow comes out of it. But this whole arise scene becomes a flop because Kamish was almost dead for 8 years. Kamish's shadow was not extracted properly, and Kamish's body disintegrated, so we can say that Kamish was terminated. By the way, if Kamish had become a part of Jinwoo's shadow army, then I think he would have been the second strongest, because one shadow is stronger than even Kamish. I will tell you about about that in this video. So yes, these were the 3 shadows that we have seen temporarily in manhwa, but now there are 10 more shadows that are permanent in Jinwoo's army. But before telling you about them, let me tell you about some of the generic abilities of Jinwoo's shadows. So shadow soldiers are obviously very good at fighting, and when they were alive, the abilities they had also kind of remain when they become a part of the shadow army. Apart from this, they can regenerate in shadow form. That means you can cut them completely or kill them, but still they will use their owner's mana to regenerate completely. By the way, there is an exception here, that if they are defeated by a very strong monarch like Antares or Rakan, then yes, they can finish those shadows forever. Now, these shadows talk to their master. Not all of them, but most of them, like Baru, Bellion, they all talk to them. And then they also grow over time, means their level increases. They literally have a ranking system according to their power, which will increase with experience. Then, these shadows can also hide in the shadows of another person and keep an eye on them. Jinwoo often hides his shadow soldiers in the shadows of his close ones so that he can keep an eye on them. If there is any problem with them, then these people can come out and fight. In fact, these shadows are so smart that they can send signals to Jinwoo from far away and tell him everything that what is going on here. Jinwoo can also switch his place with them quickly. Now, as I said, these shadows also have rank, which starts with basic grades. Then comes normal, then elite, then knight, then elite knight, then commander, then marshal, and finally grand marshal. Now, every rank is more powerful than its previous rank, means basic was the least powerful and grand marshal was the most powerful. Similarly, a grand marshal can only be one shadow that commands the entire shadow army. Okay, so that's enough knowledge about the abilities of the shadow army. I hope you are enjoying the video. If you are enjoying, then please like the video. Also subscribe to our channel. So now we have our plugin, so now let's go to our Jinwoo's 10 permanent shadows. So first of all, let's talk about the shadow giants who were found in AS rank gate of Tokyo. After killing them, Jinwoo did shadow extraction, and in this way, he did not give them any name because there were 28 giants. So he numbered them 1 to 28. These shadow giants are very strong, so much so that one shadow giant can almost defeat an average hunter of S level. Now, the next one is Igris. Igris was already a part of the Shadow Monarch, that is, the Ashborn army. But here, Igris's job was to test Jinwoo. Those who have read manhwa will remember that dungeon where there was an empty throne, which was protected by Igris. Yes, Jinwoo defeats Igris, after which Igris becomes a part of Jinwoo's army. Igris was initially ranked as a knight or elite knight. I am forgetting a little. Whatever it is, tell me in the comments. But yes, when Jinwoo came back as a real Shadow Monarch, at that time, Igris had reached the martial level. Now, apart from the power of normal shadows, Igris also has telekinesis. That is, he can move things from a distance, and perhaps with the help of that, Jinwoo got the skill of Dominator Touch. Now, the next shadow we are going to talk about is called Tank. Tank was basically a dangerous ice bear whom Jinwoo met in the Red Gate incident. So after defeating that ice bear and extracting his shadow, Jinwoo named him Tank. Yes, whenever he extracts a shadow, he gets the option to name it. Tank was initially in the elite rank, but by the end, he had reached the knight rank. How? By leveling up, and in Jinwoo's final form, everyone comes to their full rank. The next important member of the Shadow Army is Iron, whose story is very interesting. So when Jinwoo was trapped in the Red Gate, there was an A-rank hunter named Kim Chul, and he thought he was very capable. In fact, while showing his capabilities, he got trapped and kind of tries to kill Jinwoo. But of course, Jinwoo is too powerful, and he kills Kim Chul. Or is it Igris who kills Jinwoo? Whoever killed him, it was through Jinwoo. So after that, Jinwoo extracts Kim Chul's shadow and named it Iron. So when Kim Chul was alive, he was against Jinwoo, but as soon as the shadow was made, he became loyal to him. Iron's special ability is that he can taunt his opponent, and his opponent will war on him without thinking. And by taking advantage of this, Iron understands them. But his taunt doesn't work on people who are more powerful than him. Now, as far as I remember, Iron also started as a knight, but later he became an elite knight. Again, if something wrong is going on in the rankings, then let me know in the comments. Now the next one is Tusk. Once Jinwoo enters in a ranked dungeon with some high-level hunters, where high orcs attack them. Their boss was Kargalgan, who is killed by Jinwoo, and the shadow of that beast was extracted, whose name was Tusk. Tusk's rank started as an elite knight, and by the end, he had reached the commander rank. Tusk can defeat an S-rank hunter easily, and he has amazing powers. Like he can move with gravity. Sometimes he can increase, sometimes he can decrease. Then he can make a protective shield. Then he can attack with flames and fire in so many ways. Overall, Tusk is very strong. Now, the next shadow is Kaisel. So when Jinwoo defeated the Demon King Baron, then there used to be a ride of Baron. Ride or mount is his ride on which he used to fly, which was a wyvern, which we can call Kaislin. So by extracting his shadow, Jinwoo named him Kaisel. The initial name was Kaislin, but he remembered that he named him Kaisel. Now Jinwoo uses Kaisel to fly here and there. I mean, nothing special in combat, but it flies well. Now the next one is Jima. Jima used to be a big boss of an A-rank gate who was defeated by Jinwoo, and his shadow was extracted. And there is nothing special about Jima. So I have just told you the name. Look at the photo and let's move on, because there is something very interesting ahead. But yes, Jima's rank was Elite Knight. Let me tell you this. Now the next shadow is my personal favorite, and he is none other than Baru. So remember, I told you at the start of the video that during the 4th Jeju Island raid, Jinwoo defeated the Ant King. Ant King is the one who becomes Baru after the shadow extraction. Baru was so powerful that in his living form, he was beating up S-rank hunters easily. In fact, the top-ranked hunter of Japan, Goto Ruiji, was also killed by Baru, but of course he lost to Jinwoo because Jinwoo is an overpowered character. Baru likes to watch History Channel and he calls Jinwoo, "Your Majesty, my king." Baru is extremely loyal, who has a lot of powers. Like he can fly, he can manipulate size, he can heal others. Literally, you have a S-rank healer. And let alone heal, he can also do poison. I mean, paralysis from poison. Baru is amazing. It is impossible for any S-rank hunter to stand against Baru. By the way, when Baru came, he was at the commander level, and by the end, he had reached the marshal level. Anyway, enough of Baru. Now, let's move on to the next shadow whose name is Greed, and its story is also very good. Once Jinwoo goes to a C-rank dungeon with some hunters, but these hunters were bad people. They didn't want to distribute the loot, so they planned to kill Jinwoo. But of course, Jinwoo overpowered everyone. Now, the hunters who were killed by Jinwoo, their leader who was dead, has a brother who is a S-level hunter. His name is Hwang Dong-soo, who lives in America. And now he is after Jinwoo because Jinwoo has killed his brother. So brother Dong-soo will kill Jinwoo. Once when Jinwoo goes to the US, Dong-soo does his planning and plotting and fights with Jinwoo. But where does Dong-soo stand in front of Jinwoo? What does his rank mean? Jinwoo is at a different level. So after killing Dong-soo, Jinwoo also extracted his shadow and named it Greed. Now Greed is very strong. In fact, it has started from the commander level. By the way, let me tell you one thing. When the cup of reincarnation was used, then this shadow was gone, because initially it was a man and 10 years ago it was alive. So it came back to life again. So the shadow also disappeared. Now, what is Cup of Reincarnation? To understand that, you have to watch this video. At least do this much. Anyway, now we have come to our final shadow, which is also the strongest shadow, and its name is Bellion. Now, Jinwoo has not extracted Bellion, but it was a part of the original Shadow Monarch, that is the army of Ashbourne. When our Jinwoo becomes the new Shadow Monarch, then before the final fight, Bellion comes with his entire army, and instantly, he was the strongest. Bellion is now loyal to Jinwoo because he will always be loyal to the Shadow Monarch, whether he was Ashbourne or now Jinwoo. Now, here Baru also challenges Bellion, but Bellion easily beats Baru in a sparring session. Bellion is currently the Grand Marshal. That is the Grand Marshal. That is the Grand Marshal is the one who commands the entire Shadow Army. So you can understand how OP he is. Literally, Bellion is the strongest shadow. So with this, we have discussed all the shadows of Jinwoo, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, then like the video. Then the next video will come on solo leveling. There are a lot of topics to make on everyone. How does the whole system of Jinwoo's skills work? There are a lot of fights. There are a lot of videos. But if you want to watch those videos, then you have to subscribe to the channel as well. And yes, there are more monsters in his army, like some ants. Some small ones here and there. Not important, so I have not covered them. Let's assume all that. So yes, that's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Peace out.